made a great start against the Brisbane Bears and it was all over pretty early. Jackson kicked 6, Naish kicked 4. 2 reports, Tony Free of Richmond reported for striking and Mark Zanotti of Brisbane reported for tripping.
And by 3 points. Richmond, well, they've won 2 out of their last 3 and they've got Essendon next week at the MCG, and if they win that match, then perhaps they're going to be middle of the ladder. But if they've certainly picked themselves up. This is a very bad miss by Ashcroft after the handball came from Rendell on the run and missing. But the Tigers were fairly impressive yesterday. They've beaten Sydney this year. They were very, very competitive against Footscray just last week, and yesterday, very impressive first half. Brisbane did have a reasonable second half where they were only outscored by 1 goal. That was Kennedy and Bremen. And here's Knights, Jackson and Young, some good play by Richmond. So things looking up a bit for the Tigers there. Well, Bob, you've been fairly harsh on Brisbane earlier today.
I wasn't harsh on them.
OK, the AFL. OK, they did kick 10-6 to 11-6 after half-time
yes,
yesterday.
And they did kick about 7 or 8 points in a row and hit the post 3 times. So it perhaps wasn't that bad. But Alan Jeans has got the sausages in the pan, just warming along quite. He's got one side almost cooked. He's starting to turn them over. And there are some very nice sausages in his team.
Are they fried? Fried, curried, boiled, or
I think
grilled?
that they might be curried. Something they're starting to get hot.
Now, Bob, for all the people that haven't been to Glenferrie Oval in the old days and understand, it's symbolic of the fact that what Bob's saying is that Richmond is on the way. What about your votes, Richard? Not Richmond, Mr. Davis.
Well, I did give 3 Richmond players a vote. Maxfield, who is a most exciting young player, and looks as though he's really got the Jeans message, is playing very well. Knights, after a bit of a early setback against Gastiff, then started to dominate the game. And Stephen Jackson, I gave him the vote because he kicked 6 goals and he was a focal point for them, but you have to realise that he probably wasn't playing against the best opposition in the world.
Bob, I had a look at the Tigers last week, and O'Dwyer playing the ruck for the
yes.
I'm surprised they haven't played Gale in the ruck. And I thought for a couple of years now he's probably their most likely.
Well, he's quite athletic, Gale. He moves around pretty hard and that. But O'Dwyer, when he was playing with Melbourne and playing well, looked as though he could have been a very good player. And I guess that's their object in recruiting him and wanting to be there.
Now, Bob, you said Maxfield has got the Jeans message. What do you think is this mythical message from emanating from Jeans or Glenferrie Oval or whatever? Because they have played well in the last month, Richmond, haven't they? Seem to have turned the corner.
Well, obviously, he's a great student of the game and he's teaching him the smaller parts that improve fellas' performance. I mean, most league footballers have got, well, a fair amount of talent, but unless it's properly harnessed by someone that can give them the little tricks to it, and Cal would know more than me about it, but Jeans, there must be subtle messages from him.
You know what he does in general terms? He simplifies things.
Yeah.
And where most coaches and players tend to try and over-coach or if they're giving a handball from me to you, they don't think it's good enough.
Do you see any significant difference between this year and last year, though?
I do think that they are moving. There is a plan to their game. You can see a sort of plan going up the field. And when it works like the good teams do.
What is it?
Just the ability to be able to find the right option, Ron. I mean, last year...
Is that a plan, or is it the young players maturing?
Well, I think the coach must take some credit for it, because he probably says...
I'm not saying he shouldn't.
No, but there are options, and you see the Bears, they definitely take the wrong option most of the time.
Ron,
they probably take the easier one.
You like to keep it pretty simple like Alan when you're coaching, didn't you?
Well, I've been accused of overcoaching.
At the right time of the match.
One of the best goal sneaks in the AFL at present is Chris Naish. He seems to be developing with every season. That was an excellent snap from the right and forward pocket.
Richmond chalked up another win against the struggling Brisbane Bears at the MCG. The Tigers burst from the blocks and were never in any trouble as they ran away with a 59-point victory. Stephen Jackson kicked 6 and Naish 4 for the victors. The first half undoubtedly belonged to Richmond. They kicked 11 goals 4 to the Bears 1 goal 11 to hold a mammoth 53-point lead at half-time. Brisbane had as many scoring shots as the Tigers, they just couldn't find the gap. Brisbane had difficulty holding down Richmond's running players. Chris Naish was one of them. Richard Champion kicked 2 in a row for Brisbane to close the gap marginally. The Tigers going to the final change 44 points ahead. In the final term, the Bears added some respectability to the score, kicking 6 goals.